Mark Schaefer here, J-Tech. Don't know if you can actually hear me or not over all these fans, but what we're going to do is a description and overview of wiring and testing of a crankshaft camshaft sensor. We have our Peterbilt truck that we're going to be doing our testing on. So we have our handy-dandy laptop, and we're going to do a description of a starter circuit. Once we get into our starter wires, I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not, but what we have is we have our battery in starter solenoid switch here. We have our ignition switch. We have our battery in. This is our battery. Battery power is given into the battery distribution center and also to our starter. So what it is power goes from our battery, power distribution center, starter relay, up to our starter solenoid. This is all with just a turn of a key. So once the starter solenoid engages, that'll actually engage our starter. So now what we're really going to get into is our testing of a crankshaft sensor. So on the front of the engine, we're going to have our camshaft sensor right up in this area right here. I'm showing it to you here on the motor. The way the wiring diagram actually goes, it actually connects our crankshaft sensor and our camshaft sensor all into one jumbly spaghetti mess. And we'll go over to our next wiring circuit, and this will actually take our camshaft feed signal from the camshaft and have our sensor supply voltage, which should be roughly 5.5 so 3.5 to 5 volts whenever the reluctor wheel, which is basically whenever a gear, we have our gear pieces that actually go up and down, and as it turns, it's going to have a spike of 3.5 to 5 volts, and once it hits that low on the metal, it'll have a 0 volts to 2.2 volts. So what we're going to be using today is a power probe, circuit tester, this is our power probe. Our power probe is going to show us that we do have 12.5 volts at the tip. We are now going to go inside of our battery box on our truck, and we're going to test to make sure that we do have a good ground, which we do, and also that we have proper power, which is 12.5. You always want to make sure that you do have proper battery voltage, otherwise you're not going to be able to complete your testing. So we have our wire hooked up to our power probe. We're going to come up, we're going to have our key on, which our key is already on. We're going to come around front, and we're going to use our voltmeter, which is here. And then we also have our crank sensor. It's here in the block. We have our T-pins that are connected. The red wire is going to be our power. Black wire is going to be our ground. And the white wire is going to be our signal. So with the vehicle off, we can take our power probe and we can touch it to our pin for power, and we have 4.9 volts currently as a supply, which is perfectly normal. 4.5 to 5 volts for a voltage in. Our ground is good. The other way that you can test is to have your voltmeter set the voltage. Currently showing 66 millivolts. Take your red lead, place it on positive. Take your black lead, place it on negative, and you should get your 4.9. And we do have 4.9 volts. So it's going to get pretty loud, but I'm going to start up the vehicle. Do me a favor, grab that flashlight. Grab the flashlight out of the engine. Got about 4 inches of clearance. It's still going to spin. If you get hit fast, you will at least get rejected out of it. If it goes slow, it might drag you in. So what you want to do is you want to take your red lead, black lead. You want to check your incoming and outgoing signals. Currently running. We can get a spike of 6.9 volts, but normally running, we'll find a good ground, and on the ground side we have a voltage drop of 133 millivolts. Going over to our signal side. Signal side, we're going to stick our T-pin in. We got 3.29 volts. Now we'll switch our T-pin from our power to our ground and see what our actual voltage drop across the signal is. And we got a 0 voltage drop, which is good. Always make sure to remove your T-pins. Be sure to put your covers back. You don't want moisture intruding. Be sure to turn your voltmeters off. Collect all tools. Be sure that you disconnect. Also that you shut, lock, and secure the battery box. Remove all components. Be sure that the vehicle is in neutral. Turn it off, and be sure to set your parking brake. Parking brake on set. Once again, always wear safety. Make sure you're wearing your J-Tech uniform. The last time you ever see of it. Y'all have a good one.